COVID happens. How does D-Nice become the world's DJ at that point? Because that's exactly what you were. Anybody during quarantine that had to be home and we were on our phones, we were waiting for D-Nice to go live.
Yeah.
So we can just all, for a second, for an hour or two, just get away from it all.
Feel better.
And how did it feel knowing that you literally had what felt like the world waiting for you?
I was having dinner last night with one of the guys who worked at Meta at the time, who kind of helped, me be able to do that, which I didn't know. I knew him for years. He was my guy, but I didn't even realize he was over there. And he saw what I was doing on the first day. I think the reason why my situation worked versus what anyone else was doing was that, one, I was very vulnerable. I was in front of this camera. I had never used Instagram before. I used Instagram, but I never used live before.
Mm-hmm.
They had Periscope and all this crazy. I'm like, who wants to watch someone go live, know?
Right.
And I'll tell you the crazy story about it was, so this was March, so maybe like 8 months prior to that, I was playing the main stage at Essence Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Janet Jackson was performing.
Mm-hmm.
I was the main stage DJ. And before, like a day or so before the show, someone from Facebook reached out to me and said, hey, we got this new feature on Facebook called Live, which I don't think I ever even told this story. But it's like, yo, we got this new feature called Live. You should use it. And I was like, well, how much are you paying?
Yeah.
And it's like, we're not paying anything. It's a feature. It's like,
open your phone.
Like, but once again, my mind was like, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. Somebody was squatting on the name D-Nice on Instagram, and I knew they owned Instagram, and I was like, I sent the email back, like, look, if you give me my name on Instagram, I'll go live on Facebook Live, when I was off of the main stage.
Right. So
2 days later, she said, I can't promise you that, but 2-3 days later, I opened up my IG and it no longer said DJ D-Nice, it just said D-Nice. And I was like, yo. And I couldn't even, because the dude was blocked, he had one follower, I couldn't even send him a message. Yeah. Like, yo, I want my name.
Right.
I am DJ D-Nice, but I want D-Nice.
Yeah. Right.
And so when that happened, I was like, yo, I gotta go live. I went live from Essence. And then a few days later, she emailed me and was like, you got to see your analytics. Like, people like you. It's kind of interesting. And I was like, nah, I'm good. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to do that again. I was like, wow. I felt crazy walking around with a phone like, yo, you see this?
Yeah.
Because that's what I thought it was supposed to be.
Right.
Man, I didn't know 8 months later that, I woke up that morning and I went live on IG for the first time because I didn't have anything else to do. I was like, I'm going to go live. I wasn't DJing. I was like, yo, I just want to tell some hip hop stories. And then I went live. I would play like the original sample to South Bronx, and then I would tell the story about being in the studio. Yeah. Then I would play South Bronx, and I just kept seeing these names in there.
Yeah.
And it was like all of my friends. It wasn't even like, there were some famous people, you know, John Legend or whatever, like.
Yeah.
But it was like really like Chuck Bone and like Jessica Rosenblum, who used to throw all of the parties in New York.
That's the homie. Yeah.
She's in there and they're like, yo, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Yo, Jamil, what are you doing in here? Like, it was like, I'm reading these comments, but I'm telling stories and I'm playing records or playing songs from my laptop. And then it just felt good. And by the time the end of the day, I was like, wow, like that was different. Uh-huh. And then I did it again, and then it was more people. Yeah. And, that first day I went live with I'll Be Sure. He was the first person. The crazy thing is I was calling all of my friends because I heard that you could split the screen. This was the very first day I went live. Yeah. Called Kane, called Dougie. Yeah. They were all, Kane went on, he went live with me, but Dougie was like, man, this sounds like bullshit. I don't want to do this. Split the screen. Like, I don't want to do this. Yeah. I was like, I don't know, bro. This is fascinating.
Yeah.
So then I hit John Legend up, and then I went live with John and his daughter, Lula. Yeah. Is it Lula or Luna? Luna. Yeah. She was on his shoulders. I went live with him, and then my numbers spiked from like the 300 to it was like 6,000 people. Yeah. I'm a tech dude, so I'm like, wait. Yeah. It's telling people, his followers, So now I'm obsessed with that part.
Yeah.
I was like, I just got to keep going live with people.
Yeah.
And and DJ Clark Kent was like, you should actually DJ now. I was like, wow. Word. He was like, you should actually DJ. I didn't even have DJ gear at home. I didn't believe in DJing at home. And then I ran out to Guitar Center, came back home, created a flyer. Yo, I'm going live. I treated it like it was a party.
Yeah.
And that shit changed everything.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, taking that approach, I think, is what made it feel.
Look at Clark behind some more shit. Like Clark is always behind some of the most iconic shit in our culture.
And if he was here, would make sure you knew that was his idea.
Yeah. I told D Nice,
which is why I love Clark so much.
He's like, yo, I told him to go. He should actually DJ. I'm like, bro, I was already playing music live. I was just playing it from my laptop. I was playing the same song.
Yeah.
He's like, but no, you should actually mix the records now.
Yeah.
But I think that approach you took with the party flyer made it a party. Like in the comments, it became a party.
Yeah.
Because it was approached that way.
That's how it became Club Quarantine. I did not create that.
Yeah.
It was literally people in the comments. This was before the world knew about it. It was people by day 3, people in the comments like, Jessica's like, yo, I'm at the door. You're not on the list. It literally became like this party.
Yeah.
And then Jay Valentine. Jay Valentine was like, you should stop calling it homeschool, because it was called homeschool because I was talking about the samples and everything that I produced. I'm like, oh, I'm educating people on hip hop.
Yeah.
He was like, you should not call it that. You should call it Club Quarantine. And I was like, damn, that shit sounds hot.
Yeah.
Fire.
And then that's what it became, man.
That's
people
incredible.
in the comments were having like full blown conversations like they was at the bar. Yo, my homegirls in the section now, like that shit was.
I'm sitting 6 bottles.
Yo, you had the most, like, wasn't Barack in there at one point? You had one, like, it was
crazy.
names in there.
It got so big it became like a marketing thing for brands.
Yeah.
Like you would see fucking Geico in there trying to have their moment in the comments. Like it was a thing.
Bro, today marks the exact 5th anniversary of that. So before I came here, I posted something on IG, and I just want to swipe at a couple of things because my mind was actually just blown away by how massive this thing was. And I'm like, this is like Forbes. D-Nice is breaking the internet, lifting spirits worldwide. Then you switch again. D-Nice hosted a live social distancing up and Beyonce is there. Then Oprah is like, best party, one of 100,000 I've ever been to. Then they get the DM from someone, hey, major congrats. Oprah just asked for your number. She wants to talk to you. Then it's like, hey, rejuvenate. Then it's Mark Zuckerberg, like, yo, D-Nice just do the best. I was sitting here like, Jesus Christ, this is crazy. Look, Joe Biden stopped by D-Nice's social distance party.
Social distance party.
It's called Club Quarantine, Joe.
He was 6 feet away from the door. Did you talk to Oprah?
I did talk to Oprah. Yeah,
what was that
Oprah
combo
called
like?
me and we talked, and then she interviewed me for her Apple show.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then later on in the quarantine, she had her she had the book club, and then her and Gail were like walking on Oprah's property, and then they went live on Instagram with me, so we talk about books while I was DJing. And like,
it was crazy, man.
The time, I'll say this: COVID was horrible for so many people, which is why I still do. I'll go live on IG when I'm home if I'm not doing anything, or I'll go and I'll do my Club Quarantine live shows because the time was like so dark, man.
Yeah.
But the beautiful part was, we were so nice to each other.
Yeah.
And we were creative. We found ways to stay connected. Like Club Quarantine really wasn't about the music that I was playing. It was really about the connection that people had.
The community.
And the community and the conversations. And that's what was just beautiful, bro.
Especially since it's the anniversary today, which is also crazy. The way you were sitting in Violator and that guy from Boston University came up and said that, you realized that music had stuck with him since a kid. You do realize you have that same shit with people now with quarantine. Like that was a moment that's going to stick with us forever, because it was a fucking awful time. Yeah, that shit brought so much joy that I don't know if you realize that really will stick with people the same way South Bronx did.
Absolutely.
Like that was our thing.
I think it will stick with people even longer, and it's more heartfelt than than a record. You know, it's just funny, that same essence. I met a woman, you know, not even a flirtatious situation. It was just like we happened to be in the same hotel in the lobby, and you know, those festivals is just a lot of people, and she was just nice to me. And we didn't exchange numbers or anything. But when Club Quarantine happened, I was like, oh, that's the doctor. Oh, yo. And I would always shout her out every single day. It would be the same. It'd be a lot of people in there. But I would see, like, sometimes it would just be the same people.
Yeah.
If I was there playing a 19-hour set, Melba Moore was in there for 19 hours. And this doctor was in there for 19 hours. I had never seen her again other than that one time. Until like a year and a half into COVID, when the world started to kind of reopen. She happened to be in LA, and she said, I know this is gonna sound crazy. Do you mind if I stop by your house? I want to introduce you to someone. And I'm like, stop by my house? Like, that's crazy. Like, but then I'm like, wait a minute. I don't really know this person. I would never just give someone my address.
Yeah.
But I know she's a doctor, and she rode with me during CQ.
Yeah.
Like, every single day. And I was like, yo, you know what? You can stop by. I'll come outside. She was like, I really want you to meet someone. She came over to the house. I came out. I was like, all right, I'm coming out. Went out. I had my baseball cap on. She's like, no, you need to put the other hat on. I was like, all right, cool. Put the hat on.
It's a crazy request from a stranger. Like, the fact you got me out my house is
like,
one thing.
So I walk over to the car, and the back window rolls down. So I don't see a body. So I'm like, I lean in, and I see a car seat. It was like a 2-year-old kid in there. And his mom was in the front seat. And his mom looked back and was like, baby, who's that? And this kid was like, it's D-Nice. Yo, I'm almost tearing up now just thinking about it, because
that's crazy.
Yo, for that kid, that's all he watched during COVID with his parents. That's what they had on the screen, because they were dancing all day.
Right.
And to know that something like that was done, that started in my kitchen, that brought families together and brought communities together, is like, it's probably the highlight of my entire career. I feel like everything that I've done in my career was to lead up to a moment like that.
Right.
Because Barack or Michelle, they weren't in there because they just heard about D-Nice. I was literally calling people.
Right. Yeah.
You know, because I DJ'd for them. Call this one's assistant, like, hey, there's something magical happening right now. Like, you should just listen. Yeah. You know, and, you know, in the beginning, it was kind of hard to accept. I mean, how do you tell somebody I got a party on the phone?
Like, trying to explain that. Like,
how do you explain that? It's normal now.
Now it's normal. It's completely normal now.
It's like, how do you explain that? But like, people, when they saw what was happening, they took a chance and they just came in and just changed the world, man.
Absolutely.
No, it definitely did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
What were some of the responses after you had to, you know, explain that and they experienced it? What were those follow-up phone calls like? Even if it wasn't celebrity related, just
the phone calls, you know, there was one celeb, nameless, you know, that called and offered me the morning of the 21st, was like, yo, can you promote this for me? I got $100,000 for you. And I wouldn't do it. I was like, it's not that I didn't need the money. Like, when none of us were working, you know what I mean? Like, I could have used $100,000, you know? But for me, it was like, there were two things. I've always been like the side dude to someone, you know. In BDP, KRS was the face. He was the guy. I was not that lyricist. For every DJ gig, I had to fight to be someone's opener, or to, you know, or it wasn't my party because I was doing private events. So I'm playing Jay's party, but this is Jay's party. Ain't nobody coming here to see me. And to have that kind of career since '86 until a moment of March 21st, 2020, where people were literally coming to my IG for me. I didn't want to promote anyone's thing. I didn't want that to become.
I did.
Yeah, like, so I was very like aware. I was like, and I said this to that person. I was like, bro, this is the first time in my whole career that this is actually for me, man. And then I didn't want to promote anything. People were hurting. You know, so when this thing exploded on the 21st, 2:00 in the morning, that person called me and was like, wow, congratulations, you made the right decision. You just became one of the biggest DJs in the world.
Incredible.
And I'm glad I stuck with that, you know? And man, it's a great feeling.
I'm sure that came from the decades of having to reinvent yourself, going through bullshit business, knowing what it's like to be broke and go, I could use this 100K, but I know it's not going to make sense for the bigger picture here. Like I've struggled before. I could skip over this. Yeah, that's beautiful, man.